a critical loan migration project for the first time. She'll cover everything from stakeholder alignment to managing unexpected issues and technical hurdles. So let's give a warm welcome to Lakshmi.
Hello. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a great time here. I'm very excited to be here today. So I'll share my experience on how I tackled a loan migration project as a first-time leader. So the agenda would look like I'll just talk about myself a little bit, then about Visa, and about the project itself on how we moved from a legacy system to a new one, and we'll talk about the day of the migration, the prep work that we did, and how we migrated the systems. And while the journey is very unique, I hope it would give you some valuable insights from our team's experience. So yeah, let's get started. I'm a mother of two. Like I have 11-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. I'm basically from Chennai. Chennai is the capital city of the state of Tamil Nadu in India. Chennai is also the home to second longest urban beach in the world. It's the Marina Beach. Talking about Chennai and Marina Beach brings me back a lot of childhood memories, because I remember going to the beach was the most budget friendly and easily accessible for outing. So we would just pack our bags and go spend the evening there, and that's what we all did with our friends, cousins and relatives back home. My parents still live in Chennai. And just talking about Chennai and Marina Beach, just like how the beach stretches far and wide, my career journey has started in Chennai, and here I am with Sydney. So I started with Tata Consultancy Services in Chennai, and after 4 years of working there, I moved to ICAR Asia at Kuala Lumpur. After working a couple of years at Kuala Lumpur, I moved to Australia. So I started with Hum Group in Australia, after which I moved to Visa, where I'm currently working at. A little bit about Visa. Visa is a non-bank lender. Visa offers personal loans and secured vehicle loans. Visa also offers financial tools for people to make smart money decisions. So my team at Visa works on the lending side of things. So we manage loans, and how how do we give loans and how do we manage loans, and throughout the life cycle of the loans. So we'll talk more about my team and what we did along the way. Yes, why me? So we're talking about me being a first-time leader, right? So when my leader first came to me and said that, I'm going to take up a lead role, while I was doing like a normal software engineering roles, and then I'm also taking up a lead role now. So I was like, I was very not very sure if I was the right person, person full of imposter syndrome, like if I was good enough, lot of self-doubts, and very scared to take that leadership role. However, like me being scared means that I'm going to come out of my comfort zone. Though it make me a little bit uncomfortable, so that added a little bit of flavor and makes it interesting. So that's when I said yes, just like how I said to be here today to present. Though I was a little bit scared and had a lot of self-doubts on being here before you all. But yeah, we all like challenges, isn't it? So that's how I started my role back in 2022. Talking about the project. So as I told before, Visa had, Visa takes care of loans, right? Visa gives customers loans. So when customers applies loans, we verify and then we send the customer money, and then customer starts repaying the loans. So we had a legacy system that takes care of everything that happens when a loan is being settled. So the customer repays, we have fee applications, interest, and a lot of things happen throughout the life cycle of the loan. So we had this legacy system. Am I still audible? We had this legacy system which was taking care of everything that happens with the loan after a loan is being settled. And this system was very complicated spaghetti, just like how it's there in the picture. And none of us knew what it was doing. It was built and managed by an external vendor. A lot of patches went in, and it was just in an unmanageable state. And in every engineering meeting that we had, we used to discuss on what are the pain points that we have. And all of us would always talk about this particular system because it was unknown, undocumented, and we didn't know how to kind of maintain this system. And it was also not catering to our needs of growing loan volumes as well. So that's when we decided that yes, we have to move to a new system, which means that we should just get rid of this and go to a very new system. So that was our problem, right? So we had this problem of legacy unknown system, which we have to move, migrate to a brand new system. which means that because none of us knew what was happening, we had a lot of internal workshops to ask people very silly questions on how they would, really use the system, how they would interact with the system, what would they actually do, for every process that they do. One such example is, debiting the customers, right? We asked very basic questions on what do you do with the system, like how do you click, where do you click, and what happens after that. To understand the technicalities involved, we needed to kind of understand what the users actually do. So once we had these internal workshops, we prioritized the must-have processes, because there are 1,000 things that we could do, but we need to kind of prioritize on what needs to be tackled, so that we can move from this old system to a new system. So prioritization, and once we had all these prioritized and must-have processes in place, what we did was visualization. Visualization was just about boxes and arrows, nothing fancy, just simple, because we're all working online. We just drew on our screens and we just showed, this is how it's going to work, this is the flow, this is how the user will interact. And with good visualization, we went to the solution mode. So solution mode is, we decided that we're not going to do everything by ourselves, which means we're going to look out for vendors. We're going to reach out to vendors and see what they offer. That's where I was involved in vendor validation. So we reached out to a couple of vendors, and we had to analyze if each and every vendor is going to satisfy our needs and technical complexities, and how easy it is to integrate with the system, and how feasible it is for us financially as well. So after all this vendor validation, finally we were ready to move from dinosaurs to drones, right? Because the old system was very legacy. We were actually decoding very complex queries, ancient scripts, but we have this new flashy system which has modern APIs. Finally, something that we can talk to and that can talk to us as well, right? Yeah, the system had good API, modern API endpoints. It was fast, scalable, secure, and also had a lot of webhook callbacks that can talk to us as well. So, but it came with its own challenges, because the system had, picture it like an IKEA furniture. So it had nuts and bolts, parts and everything, but it was our responsibility to build it as the way we want. So yeah, we were just having an IKEA furniture and the user manual there. So which means that we had two important things to do. So one was to build the furniture, and the other one was to actually migrate the loans, right? So we have our transaction statements, loans, and everything that's there in the old system, and we have to move that to the new system. So we had two important things to do. While we were playing software engineers, we had our data engineering team who were armed with data pipelines, reports, and determination. So they were our superheroes. So how we started this project was that we were closely working with our data engineering team as one single team, and we needed that shared understanding, because we were ultimately working towards the same goal. While they were actually migrating the data through their APIs, through the new systems APIs, we were creating operational processes for our internal users to use every day. So we're kind of doing the same thing. So we decided that we will work as one single team, and we were working in an agile model as well. So we would do all our ceremonies together. So with every iteration, with every meeting, we would get more clarity, because remember, the old system was also unknown, and we also have an unknown new system. So that was the biggest challenge that we faced. So we'll talk about more challenges here, but that's the first challenge, where we always had this balancing between old and new with every feature that we built, right? So there would be user stories, do direct debit process in new system. So the first question is, how did the old system handle? Right? How did the old system do this? And how is the new system supporting this? So this was a constant question that we had, and it was a challenge to kind of learn both the system at the same time. I guess with a lot of teamwork and collaboration, kind of having that shared understanding, I think we were able to tackle that. With this balancing also came the decision making. So if it is like one-to-one way, like one way in the old system, and there's this just one single way in the new system, it's easy. But we had a scenario where we had multiple ways of doing a particular thing in the new system, and that's when we had to kind of make that decision on which is the right way to do. So that decision was both technical and also business perspective as well. So then again, we had to make many such decisions along the way, where I think the important thing there was when we brought in every aspect. Like we had the technical aspect and the data engineering side of putting the data engineer hat and also the business person, the SME hat, and various internal teams. So we all had that collective inputs, and that's when we made all these decisions. So this is a personal challenge, not being able to code as much as I did, because I said that I was just a software engineer before this. So I would build features, right? I would build features, I would ship them, and I would get that instant satisfaction of yes, it's being delivered, it's all working fine. But right now here, I'm being involved in many other things, doing architecture, planning, analysis, vendor validation, many things, but just I'm not putting my hands on code. So that was a constant guilt or wrench that I had. Much later, what did I figure that I'm working towards a bigger picture. So there's a bigger thing that's going to give much more value after a couple of months. So yeah, I had to figure out much later after some self-realization, I guess. Technical challenges. We all face technical challenges, and now we have ChatGPT and Codium, Google, everything to help us. But I guess some technical challenges were very system specific. As in, like, we had a challenge where a particular way of generating documents in the new system, and we spent some time to make it work, but then we hit a wall where it wouldn't work the way we wanted. So that's when we kind of decided that we'll build it ourselves. But then we had to extend the deadline, we had to explain why we're doing this, and many other explanation was needed to kind of make that decision. So again, it's all interrelated, right? So you have to make the decision to overcome the technical challenges that we had. Time. Okay, I think we all struggle with time management with everything that I told before. So even our software engineers, we were learning the new system, as I said. So we were having constant workshops on how to use the new system and what endpoints to use, and how to kind of interact with the system. So which means that we are also building stuff, and we're also kind of planning for the future stuff that we are building. So time management was a constant struggle that we had, and something that we followed along the way was to just have no meeting days. Like, we would block a couple of days in a week where we wouldn't attend any meetings. That kind of increased our productivity, where we'll not have any context switching. And it doesn't apply to the developer to developer talk, right? We always talk, we always have peer reviews, huddles, and things like that. But this is more about meeting that's not related to code. So we said, yeah, we will have no meeting days, and we'll also kind of have some focus time every day set up in our calendars, where we'll say we will not attend any meetings, and we're going to focus on that. And the other challenge I had was people. Okay, this is a personal challenge, and I'm still having the challenge. People management is very difficult. I guess people are not software. So when I started the role, I was not having anyone reporting to me. But then along the way, I guess the team structure was something like I had to kind of have a couple of reportees. So they were reporting to me, which means that now I am also responsible for their career, on what they are interested in, what are what's their passion, and how will that align with the team goals. So that understanding for each and every individual was challenging. It is still challenging. I hope I learn that, and I'll get there someday. I'm working towards that, I would say. Yeah, with all these challenges, I guess as a team, we had couple of strategies that we used to kind of get more clarity on the bigger picture. So I would say the first thing was to deliver continuous value. So we have this big deadline to reach, but then not delivering anything until we reach there doesn't make sense. So we had to kind of deliver value while we move towards the goal. So that's when we decided that we will identify modules that are very independent of the final goal. Like, we will deliver those first, which means that we are delivering some value to the end users. Our end users in this case was the internal users. So basically, so we identified that module. So that module had a front end and various backend services. So we built that in a couple of months, and we delivered that, which means that the internal users saw how that the end system is going to be. So we gave some value, and we were also motivated because we delivered a value, and it is all working, right? So that sense of motivation was there when we kind of gave that value after a couple of months. And along the way, we followed OKR strategy. I think some of us already used that. So it's like objective key results. So our objective is to move to that new system, and key results is that how we get there, right? So for example, we had an objective of process payments from the new system. So how do we get there? So one quarter we say development completed for process A. right? So that's our goal, and the stretch code would be like UAT sign off for process A, and then we would move to process B. So if we had like 3 processes, we would do that over quarters, so that we are getting towards the end objective by doing stuff in each and every quarter. And as I said before, we worked in an agile model. With agile, I don't mean that we're shipping things continuously, but what we are shipping is we're shipping to an environment where the users would test. That kind of led us to the a goal very easily. Naturally, we were just building stuff, shipping to an environment where users would test, they would sign off, and then we'll move on to the next feature. So this kind of delivering value in the iteration made really sense for us, and it also kept the software engineers highly motivated. Priorities. This is all interrelated. So with priorities, I'm mostly talking here about technical priorities, because I said we had a legacy system, which means some of the processes were very outdated and some of the processes were very manual. So we were like, we software engineers, we like problems, right? Because we like to solve them. So we were like kids in a candy store. Oh wow, there's a lot of problems. So I can solve all of them. I can make everything super efficient, super fast. But then we were smart that we did not choose to automate or propose automate everything, because it would mean that we are kind of overcommitting, like biting off more than we could chew. So so we made that decision where we will only automate the processes that are of high value, and we will keep the ones manual for the next stage of the project, right? Otherwise, if we are going to automate and solve every problem at that time, we're never going to reach that end goal of us. And I can't stress this much enough, because sequence diagrams are really we're our best friend, because in Agile, I know we all mostly work towards delivering stuff, working software rather than documenting. But this one, I'm mostly talking about planning. Right, because our processes were very complex for software engineers to understand the flow of control, we needed to kind of have these diagrams in place to understand how the interaction is going to be. So this is a very basic diagrams. Our processes are very complex than this, but this is the high-level diagram that we had to kind of understand. Okay, where is that new system going to be, and what is our front end, and how it's going to interact with the bank, and how the user is going to interact with the system. So we would use such diagrams to actually plan our work into stories, right? So this would sit as a spike in Jira, if you all use Jira. So we would say we would create a spike on, create a plan for functionality A, and we would have this kind of diagram, after which we would create stories for engineers to work on. So this really worked, and we're still following this pattern, and it kind of gives a clarity on what microservices I need to build, or do we even need a microservices for this, and all those questions, right? So thorough unit tests. We all do unit testing, but I think we had one software engineer, senior software engineer, who would not pick up a particular ticket if there is no test data in that. So he would always go to the product owner and business SME to give us some real world loan examples, so that we can write our unit tests. So obviously we have our own test cases, we would write everything, but we want some real numbers, real world like numbers in the ticket to kind of get that confidence that it's going to work for loan numbers, right? We're just doing, for example, calculating a late fee. We would like a real loan like examples instead of us giving some 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers, something like this. But we would like some real world, examples in the ticket, so that us engineers, we got confidence on actually we're solving the real problem, not some arbitrary values, right? So this, I think I like this approach very much, and we started using that proposal out from that engineer, and I think it helped a lot. It kind of reduced the number of bugs when we shipped the product. Actionable feedback, or this is a personal lesson or strategy, whatever it is that I learned, because as I said, like I was also moving to a leadership role where I have to kind of provide feedback, and I was receiving feedback from my leader as well, but the feedback should be kind of specific. Just saying you did great doesn't kind of tell what did they do great or what did they do nice, what was actually nice. Wiser also supported us with various sessions from life labs where they talk about feedback, coaching skills, and other things. So I think, yeah, with feedback, even in PR reviews, right, we started giving some positive feedbacks, because PR reviews, I think they are not only for pointing out something that needed to be changed, but also telling if something is actually nice. We had an engineer who was actually working on front end, and they moved to back end, and then they did a very good coding. So they did they made use of the code really well. They made a library for common functions, and it was really impressive. So we said this is really good in the PR review. So then we started this practice of pointing out things are good in PR reviews, which kind of, because we are working towards a bigger goal, these little things, small wins or small appreciations were very important for us between a team, and it kind of built up a very good team culture as well. It is okay to say no. Okay, I learned it the hard way. I made a mistake. So when I was in the lead role, like when I was starting in the lead role, I said yes to kind of do a functionality which was of very minimal value, and that particular module is going to be replaced. I said yes, I will do it, because I just wanted to be nice to the stakeholder, right? I just wanted to be that nice person. So but then yeah, I think that was a very bad decision. After which my leader pointed out that it is okay to say no. You don't have to please people, right? So that's where I was learning. That's when I learned, okay, it's okay to say no. I'm not saying that we should just say no. No, I'm not doing this. That's not what I'm trying to say here. But it's like more understanding on what we're trying to build, how much value is it going to give to the end user, is really important before committing to anything. This is a personal learning that I learned in this project. And it's kind of connected to this. I don't have to be the superhero to know everything, answer every problem, answer every question, to know everything that when someone asked me. So I can always go back to my team, talk to them, get their opinion, involve them, and then make the final call. In few situations, yes, I would know the answer, but I would still say that, let me go talk to them, because my team would have more interesting ideas or different ways of doing things. So yeah, I just don't have to be that superhero there. Yeah, that's something I learned as well. And with all the learnings that we had and all the teamwork, we got to the final day of migration. So before this, the data team did a lot of dry runs, a couple of dry runs where they would, just to migrate the loans from the old system to the new system. And what we did was we ran all the processes that we built on that, migrated loans. We did that 3 times, if I can remember correctly. Yeah, we did that exercise 3 times to get the confidence that yes, we're doing things right, because there was a lot of data mapping, reconciliation, reports, everything that was required before we got that confidence. And once we got that confidence, we needed one more confirmation. So that's what we did was parallel testing. So what parallel testing means is that we were running both the systems parallelly with the same type of loans. And we were actually, running the process for 2 weeks and comparing the loan balances, the interest application fee, everything between these two, systems for 2 weeks. And once at the end of that, when we got that confidence that yes, these two are producing the same results, that's when we took a call that yes, we are ready to move, to the new system. And obviously, go live checklist, we got sign off from every stakeholder. So we had multiple internal stakeholders. So they were all confident that yes, with these 2 weeks of parallel testing, they all got the confidence that it's going to work. So we deployed the services in a switched off state. And one fine weekend, because we didn't want to kind of affect the operations, right? So over the weekend, data engineering team and my team, we worked together to, do the data migration and also deploy everything. We had this go live run sheet to guide us. So this run sheet had various tasks, owner, and the time that we would do the tasks, and also like point of rollback, right? Because there were multiple points where we could roll back and then say yes, it did not work, and then we will try another time. But luckily, I think we did not roll back. So it went fine. So despite all the challenges, learning curves, we successfully delivered the project. So on the Monday when the team came, the old system was dead. So we had this new system where they started their day-to-day operations. I think it was just a testament of our team collaboration and the commitment that we had. This project, it took over a year. So yeah, at the end, it was successful, and it was also a December time when we delivered this. The Christmas break was also coming, and we were all praying that it shouldn't blow up, so that we all mess up our summer. So yeah, I guess what I thought it would be, my journey was actually not like this, but it was just like this. It was just like a supportive journey where I was supported by my team, my leaders. My journey has been really great, and also a very, very nice learning journey. I'm still learning. I wouldn't say I'm a great leader. I'm still learning, but yeah, I'm just as good as my team. So I had an amazing team, and my leaders backed me up always with all the support. Yeah, I hope some of the lessons from my journey might resonate with you. Yeah, if you have any questions, we can discuss, or here's my LinkedIn profile. We can connect later as well. Yeah, thank you very much for your time and attention, for listening to me. Yeah, I'm open for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshmi. I really loved how you clearly explained the challenges and also provided the strategies to mitigate them. Is there any question?
Hi, thank you. At the beginning, you mentioned that this legacy system was something that no one within the company really understood anymore, and you had this big interviewing process. As a result of this move towards a new system, was there any change in how you documented what you were building in an attempt to basically prevent this scenario playing out again? Or is it a case where that interview process is basically the most efficient way, or there's just no way of getting around that in a general sense?
No. That's a great question. So we definitely documented stuff this time because we didn't want to end up in a situation where we had to do this again. I'm sure the system, we're not going to replace this new system, hopefully. But yes, we did document. What we did was we drew some basic diagrams, visual diagrams, to kind of understand the new process as well. Yeah, because we didn't want to go and interview again and do the same thing all over again. But what we also did was sequence diagrams like those, technically as well. I think those were kind of easier for engineers to understand, to see the flow of control. Every feature that we built had this high level diagrams we used Jira. So every epic would have those diagrams. So if someone is fixing a bug later on, they can just go back and refer to that. I'm not saying that we're going to keep on updating things, but it's just a high level flow. We have that for all the processes now. So we're not going to do the same thing all over again. Yeah. Oh.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for that. That was very, very relatable, actually.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, because even I myself began as a lead developer maybe about 2 years ago now, and I love that, especially the stuff around not coding as much as you used to and getting to grips with that. That's very relatable. I think one other thing kind of related to that is the whole thing around the other people within the team and making sure that they have work that helps enable their careers to grow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, as you mentioned, there's always a balance between what they want personally and then what we need to deliver
exactly,
a project.
Right. Yeah.
So I was wondering if there's anything specific there that you looked at in terms of, for example, if there was any point where you had to regrettably get someone's help to get something over the line, and if it was something that you knew that they wouldn't really enjoy, if you ever had to deal with that kind of thing, or?
I would say not technically, but for people management, I needed a lot of guidance from my leader because that was something really, really hard. Because with technical challenges, I guess you get answers. But with that, I had situations where, I had to manage something, but I was not sure if I was doing the right way. I always had my leader. I asked the most silly questions. I told him that I'm going to ask this because I just don't know how to do this. I had situations like that, and I'm still facing those. That's when I just going through some podcasts and things to understand how leadership actually works. I was listening to this Influence and Impact for podcast from Carla Miller. She interviews a lot of leaders, female leaders as well, to understand the difficulties that they face. So that's my biggest challenge, I would say, people management. I'm still struggling with that, to be honest. But as I said, I hope I get there someday. But I guess it's different with people, right? So yeah, I don't know if you can resonate with that, but yeah, that's the most challenging thing I needed guidance with. Yeah.
Fair. Cool. Thanks.
We've got another question here.
Yeah, I was wondering, how did you choose priorities?
Priorities, the technical priorities I took on?
Yeah, you sort of talked about the different flow for this project, and one of those steps was figuring out what the priorities were.
Yeah, I think the priorities that I spoke about was mostly about, it was not technical priorities, but it was business priorities on, I would say an example where, in the old system, so we had number of processes, but few processes were actually not really required to be in that system. It was not even, supposed to be there. It was supposed to be somewhere else. So those ones we need not kind of look for in the new vendor. So those kind of priorities, like which is a must-have and which is actually shouldn't be there at all. So we had some things like that because, because I said the whole system was bespoke. So we, then back in the days, maybe we asked, we needed this, and they kind of solved the problem. And that's how it ended up there. So those, I think, that priorities were actually easy. It was not a very difficult decision to say that this should be there, because when we had this interview process, we kind of clearly knew that, this is something that shouldn't be there. So we need not have to look that in the new system, Yeah.
Thank you. Any more questions? I actually have a question for you.
Sure.
You did mention that there was quite a transition from being in a technical role to a management/leadership role. And then you mentioned that there was quite some reflection to do regarding that. What made you transition?
Okay, I wouldn't say that I chose to go there. Like it just happened because when I started, I wasn't sure if I was the one. Like I didn't know. I didn't know that I had any of the leadership qualities. I had always the self-doubt. I think it just happened. But one thing I was sure is that I'm going to work towards that, and that's the only thing I had in mind. It just happened. I did not plan to go there. I don't know if it answered your question, but I'm enjoying it right now. So yeah.
That's what matters, I guess. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you everyone for your time and attention. I really appreciate it.